Hello, everyone. It's your sister Roland in a new podcast. So, last week, Sunday, I was supposed to post a podcast. However, I was unable to do that because I was wiped out from prom. And we're talking about prom today. So, obviously, I was not that wiped out, but hey. So, anyway, why I wanted to talk about this is because of particularly Kevin Hart. You know, Kevin Hart, he's a comedian. He does movies. He has a lot of stuff going on. So he has a daughter by the name of Heaven with his ex-wife Tori, and she's graduating. So she's class of 2023. So she had posted. I'm going to probably put the pictures on the screen. She had posted her mom. The parent had posted her and her friends going to prom. And then of course she took a picture with her. I don't think Kevin was in those pictures. He's probably on tour, but his current wife was there, and there were many people in the comments. Of course, the shade room talking about all that money, like this comment here, all that money, and that's the type of dress they wear. She wearing, oh, but she's beautiful anyway. But then we had this sensible comment right here where this person pointed out that they have noticed the difference when wealthy people and low to middle class people do prom. There's a difference, and there is a big difference. So people are going in on the young lady, oh, they could have get a better dress than that and stuff like that. And this is the time that we're living in, where people, particularly black people, Hispanics too. So there are Hispanics that do that, wear their wealth. It's obvious if these people ever have money, they're gonna definitely people gonna know. If they come into money, people will know they come into money. Whereas people who are truly wealthy, who have the money, and who come from wealth, they don't even do this. Because I'm looking at I have a family member that goes to the area that he goes to. That area have wealthy people in it. It has financially stable. You have to have money to live in that area, period. And some of them are snobbish too. That's it. And they cheaters also. I'm not gonna say the area, so I can say what they are about because I have a child that plays a particular sport with them, and they cheat. How they cheat is because they are professionally trained. They have a professional trainer, but yet they choose to play with kids that just are trained by their coach. So they cheat. But anyway, I had to put that out there. So he went to prom. He went to prom, and what was that thing? The Gatsby, the Great Gatsby, too. But it, like my daughter, her theme was the Great Gatsby, but they had more of a masquerade feel. Their own was the Great Gatsby, but they was more leaning to the wealthy side, like to show off their wealth. I guess if they had did that in like a minority community, people will be wearing Gucci and Fendi and Louis Vuitton and stuff like that because people think those are the brands that show that you're wealthy. Whereas there are so many brands that people don't even know. Them stuff costs a lot of money because if you didn't know, I thrift. That's how I make. That's another side hustle of mine. I buy stuff that are used and resell them, like stuff that are nostalgic, things that are high end, and the things I have discovered. Yes, Gucci sells well because I've sold used Gucci, but there are things that I have bought. Those things cost a lot of money new, and they also have a resale value. That's why I always look at the brand What is your resale value if you after you've been used? How much can I get for it? And there are so many other brands people don't even know about because I had to actually learn them. So when I do go to a thrift store, so I can find them and make money off of them. So anyway, so these kids coming from this area, you should see the way they went to prom. Normal clothing, like normal, like they didn't. It wasn't extravagant or whatever. It wasn't extravagant because even the family member that went, he more paid attention to the car that he rented, but not really the suit. He just had something written on the suit or whatever. But the kids in that area, when I went on the page, when I went on the school's page, the kids were just like normal, like how prom used to be. But then now with social media put their mouths in these kids' proms, now people feel the need to go over the top, overdo it when they don't even have to. And then that's causing a lot of kids, some kids going into debt, some kids doing stuff they don't have no business doing, so they could flaunt and floss for the internet that don't even care about them. Because the internet, you see how long money you spent, the internet is not going to reimburse you. And then even if you know how much money you spent in that thing, doing all kind of stuff, looking for the makeup, looking for the artists and stuff like that, spend all day, didn't even eat, and then there's always going to be somebody, especially if you live in for social media, that's going to say something negative. And then especially when you say when you live in for social media, even though you have 100 people telling you, wow, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, but then here comes that one person telling you, oh, why your hair look like that, oh, that color don't look nice on you, oh, this and all that. Who do you think you're gonna give attention to? The negative person. Because especially if you live for social media. So I don't understand why the drag that young lady was beautiful. Beautiful young lady. The dress went with her. But I guess because she didn't have that long train, she had to have that long train. My other daughter, the one that had the masquerade, I had a picture on, did the Gatsby masquerade ball. Their venue was in Aventura, the Hilton in Aventura. The venue was very small. So all the girls that came with the long train, those big old poofy dress and stuff like that, they spent the whole night yelling at people for stepping on their clothes because the venue was too small. That's another thing people don't put in consideration. You consider, hey, I want to go viral for prom. I want to get as much likes as possible, as much comments as possible, because now that's what our kids are living for, just for social media validation, and not taking in consideration, hey, where I'm going, is this place able to accommodate like 10, 15 girls with these big old long train dresses? My daughter said most of the girls that came with the long train dresses, big poofy dresses, they were sitting down. They couldn't dance. They couldn't do anything because when they did do that, people stepping all over their clothes. However, my other daughter, she goes to a Broward school. Her venue was more larger. So it would have been able to accommodate those girls. But her school, those kids don't do that because it's a predominantly other race. It's not the same. A lot of kids that go to that school don't. It's not the same color as her. So her venue was more big. It would have been able to accommodate 15, 20 girls coming with those big trains, but those girls didn't even come like that. Now going to my other daughter who goes to a predominantly black school, a lot of the girls, that's how they came, and they did not enjoy it. So you spend, how much her prom was? And prom now is expensive. When I was in school, I spent $75. My prom ticket was $75, I think. Was it $75? No, I think it was 50. It wasn't. It was more than. It was no more than $75. It was from 50 to $75. Her prom, how much her prom was? Because you had to pay a certain deadline. My other daughter go to Broward. She had to end up paying $150. because she didn't have the money at the time. And my other daughter, it was just 125. They didn't change, put up the price on her. It was just 125, I believe. So $125 you spend and you ain't enjoying it. Child, I would dance the night away. I would dance for my $125. You know I'm Haitian. I'm a dance. I was gonna dance for my $125, eat, get a second plate, everything. I was gonna enjoy my money. $125. Child, if you go in Best Buy right now and you need to buy something and you short $125, you think they're gonna do it for people who say $125 ain't no money? Is it ain't money for you? It's money for me, child. So they sat down there all night. And then there were other ones complaining, oh my goodness, wow, I had to take off all this makeup. I spent $100 and something. That's the next thing with this makeup thing. That's they be charging people all type of money for makeup. So the girls were complaining, oh my goodness, oh why I wish I could sleep with this makeup on my face. I spent all kind of money just to go wash it off after a few hours. That's what you're gonna have to do if you don't want to mess up your skin. That's what you're gonna have to do. So they're dragging this little girl, and then look what Kevin Hart looked like. He came in for her graduation, so he wasn't able to make it for the prom. He was able to make it for graduation and gifted her a new car. How many y'all dragging this young lady for her dress for prom? But how many of y'all would be able to give your daughter a car paid off where she doesn't have to pay any car note, or you don't have to pay any car note, and have insurance to go with it? How many of y'all stay right there dragging the people or as much money as they could get a better dress, because that's not important to them. A prom dress to please social media is not important to them. That's not what they live for. So we're going to go into this clip in my other point that I have to make.
The seniors in Central Texas and a town there won't be able to graduate. Marlin is a town with just over 5,000 people, southeast of Waco. Leaders at the school district announced they were rescheduling the graduation ceremony to June. That's because 21 of its 38 seniors were not eligible to receive a diploma, specifically because of unexcused absences and failed courses. Many parents expressed frustration with the decision. While the district took responsibility, leaders say it wasn't the only one at fault.
There was a meeting that happened around the same time as this. At that meeting, you received a sheet that said whether your student was on track or was not on track. The parents that was not here, phone calls went to try to get them in. We also opened up our availability all day long.
But one student says he was not informed that he would not be able to graduate until just days ago.
Received a phone call where the principal was letting me know that my child would not be graduating.
Noticed that some students continue to have absences as well as failed courses.
And one student was missing a history test requirement.
But because he did junior year or half a junior year online, they failed to realize that he didn't test, which I find it kind of strange because I thought end of class exam was like the STAR test, and I thought everybody took it together at the same time.
Singled out, like, from mismanagement. Like, how do you let me do that? How do you let me miss out on such an important thing?
So you heard that news clip from a school in Texas, and this mom and her son right there standing making excuses and whatever. Take responsibility. We have to take responsibility for the choices that we have made in life, for the things we have failed to do in our life. Yes, the school was supposed to stay on top, be like it maybe every month or every time the semester finishes or the quarter finishes, or the different schools do it different ways. Check on, see, who is meeting the minimum, meeting the requirements, like the seniors. They should have to do that. But in the time that we're living in with these kids, with parents not raising their children, we see a lot of children are misbehaving, and some of these things are making news. The teachers and administration are spending way more time trying to discipline these kids instead of staying on top of their academics. That's why you can't put everything on the school. You can't put everything on the teachers. You can't put everything on the administrators. The parents are supposed to come too, because you with your child, you know exactly what they need to do. You need to be checking their grades, because in Miami-Dade County where we at, they give you a parent portal where you can add your child and then you keep on top of their grades. Maybe not all school districts have that type of thing that Miami-Dade County have, where you're able to see everything they do, everything from day to day, as long as the teacher is uploading their grades. You're able to think, so you're able to stop. Hey, I mean, go to your child. What's going on in math? What's going on in science? What's going on in history? What's going on in biology? You're able to ask them, and then they can't give you an answer. You reach out to the teacher. You could always email them or whatever. Say, I see my child is failing your class. What can we do? What we need to do? What is he missing? People not doing their job. Everybody want to blame everybody. Nobody want to take responsibility. And this school has 33. I guess it's not a big school, so they have 33 seniors. Out of the 33 seniors, only 5 are graduating. And that's not only that school in Texas. What the school, first of all, the school, my daughter that goes to Broward County, her school, it was the beginning of the year. They started reviewing and seeing who seniors are not meeting the requirements, and they just kicked them out. They sent them to alternative, because you're not going to put there, because the less kids graduating, that gives them a high percentage retention rate. Some schools, they don't want you giving them a high retention rate, so they kick them kids out, send them to alternative school. Now, if you still want to play while you in alternative school, that's your business. That's your business. We don't care. So, but if you do what you're supposed to do at the alternative school, they're able to graduate with their class as if they were still there. Only if they do what they're supposed to do. Because sometimes that's what wakes up the kids. When they get kicked out, now they have to go to alternative school. They might not even, alternative schools, some of them kids, they like to fight. You just was slacking off. You just lazy or whatever. So now you with alternative school, you don't know what habits you picking up, your child picking up. But people are more worried about, that's what these kids are more worried about, the senior activities, the prom, the grad bash, the picnic or the brunch and stuff like that, so they can show out. But some of these kids are not really focusing on their academics. So my daughter's school that goes in Broward, they was kicking those kids out. They was kicking them. They tell them, this is what you need to do. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I think they give them a chance. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. Go to alternative school. Now, if you take it serious, then you're able to, when it's graduation, you're able to graduate with your actual class. My other daughter's school, it's like 400, it's over 400 of them. Only 58% is graduating. Only 58% is graduating, actually will graduate. She worked in the office as an office aide. There were kids, because now is the time that they clearing kids to graduate. Now is this time, because graduation, right before a week, 2 weeks before graduation, you're being cleared. Well, that's how they do it in Miami-Dade County. That's how they do it in Broward. I don't know other places, but they're going to let you know what you're going to do. If you not cleared, then you probably going to have to go to night school. So it's kids that's coming. People focus on the wrong thing. Kids coming through. She said the whole week, kids coming to the school and saying, oh, they come to be cleared. They told them that they supposed to come to the office, or they supposed to come to I think the lady is the counselor, to be cleared. The lady is like, I've never seen you in school before. Say, do you go to alternative school? Because like I told you, when they send them to alternative school, if they do what they're supposed to do, they'll graduate. So the lady's talking to them like maybe they from the alternative school. That's why she never see them, because she's the counselor. You have to come and see her for certain stuff throughout the year. So she's telling these different kids, I've never seen you before. And then when they go and look up the kids' records, the kids have 64 school absences. These kids have over 60. Some of them have 50, 70 school absences. Where's the parents? But y'all want to blame the school administration. Why nobody is checking up on these kids to see if they're not going to school? In Miami-Dade County, after the pandemic, when the kids were able to go back to school, they had so many kids unaccounted for, and that's how when they found out, they didn't even have the kids' parents' contact information, because there's a glitch. If the Miami-Dade County don't know, there's a glitch. Kids go in the system, change their parents' number, but whatever, that's a different story. So it's a bunch of kids. I don't know if what these parents have going on. I don't know what these parents have going on. These kids not going to school. I don't know if the parents leave early for work and then come back late. So these kids stay home. They don't go to school. But some of them able to go to prom, because sometimes, depending on the school, your academics don't really have anything to do with you not going to certain senior activities, which it should. So these kids are able to go to prom and stuff like that, but then they not graduating because they never did the work, or they never came to school. Now it's just never getting to school because they got senioritis. That's what my daughter tells me it's called, senioritis. So they just stop coming to school. They just stop coming to school. Now my kids, they don't have to go to school if they don't want to, because all their work is finished. Like one of them who's in this program, oh my goodness, the girl had all kind of projects to do, all type of things to finish. It was ridiculous. And plus she's working. Now that's over, she's able to relax. And she deserves it. But some of these kids been relaxing where they wasn't supposed to. How are you relaxing? You just started school. And I'm saying, did these kids ever go to school? But kids just more concerned about prom and making it so they go viral, because that's what's so difficult. Because y'all people on social media doing that to these kids. And then especially when you're talking about black kids, when they want to be accepted into certain colleges, like certain HBCUs, they not getting accepted. They have to take another color, and then you want to get mad in the comments of your enter in your incoming class. You want to be mad, oh, how they picked that kid, and I couldn't get picked because the person have the grades. And those colleges and universities, they have a quota. They have a certain amount of kids they need to enroll. So if black kids, Hispanic kids, minority kids that's supposed to be in the school is not making the cut, they have to go reach out and get other races. They're gonna wait for you. And then some of these kids, they're not getting accepted, so they have to go to summer. They have to start summer classes so they can be able to get into the fall. Because people worried about the wrong thing. People worried about the wrong thing. And then you worried about social media validation. So I hope we end up in the shade room. That is the goal. So go all out. Now, if you want to go all out, your child, a child that really deserves it, a child who's been working, putting in the work. I know some kids, they've been putting in the work. Oh my goodness, some of these kids, weekends, they was in their books. They cut off all activities, and then their parents went out all out for their prom. I know they put in the work. They're kids who deserve it. If that's what their parents want to do, they could do that. But there are some kids, you don't deserve to even go to brunch because you've been slacking off. And I'm even worse as a parent. I've been enabling you. So you have all these kids, a big whatever the amount of the senior class is, and sometimes you don't even have half graduating. When I was in school, it's just a handful of people not graduating. But then when I was in school, that's when they had the FCAT, and people were scared about that, y'all. So, well, my class, it wasn't a lot of kids, but it was some kids. But then when I was graduating, you were still able to graduate. You're just not going to get a diploma. Because there was a bunch of us, they let everybody graduate, they let everybody walk. However, when you're done, they give you the cover. When you're done, you're supposed to go to a particular door to get your diploma. Not a lot of people went through that door. So I was able to go through that door. And I was happy, but I wasn't showing off at the graduation now. I wouldn't do that. But when I got home, I was what? And I was getting out because I put in the work, child. Every day after school, when I heard about the FCAT and everybody's scared, after school I could have my life and stuff like that. As a teenager, I was in tutoring. Up until the day I passed that thing up, I spent months in tutoring because I knew needed that. And it paid off. Sometimes you have to sacrifice so you could get what you need to get later. That's what a lot of people, because then again, how these kids gonna know that? Ain't nobody raising them. So this young lady, she didn't even deserve that. And then people who have money don't be doing the stuff that us minorities do. Well, not every minority, because Asian people don't do stuff like this. Asian is particularly blacks and Hispanics that be doing, and especially with the social media, you live for social media. So after you go viral and stuff like just for that, and that's it. Anyway, I think that's all I had to say on this particular subject. Ridiculous. And then what made me, the mom is not even taking any accountability, or administration, or how they could let him do. How your mom let you got away with that young man? Your mom wasn't keep on top of stuff. I understand we need to, you have bills to pay, especially if it's you by yourself and stuff like that. But that doesn't negate that you don't keep on top. Even ask questions. What how you doing in your class? I'm gonna pull up on you, even if you're not gonna pull up on you. Them, parents be lying sometimes. I'm gonna pull up on your class. Just in case they slack it off. Because that's what people used to tell me when I was raising my kids. I didn't know everything. People would tell me, say, sometimes just order the blue, check their work, order the blue, show up to their classes, so they could know. You better don't be slacking off in school. Don't be slacking off in school. That's what I used to do. That's the advice that I got. But then now you can't give people advice now. You judge them. You jealous. You the hater. You broke and stuff like that. That's why y'all are reaping the repercussions. So now a lot of people, they can't even open that book. The little cover that they give them, they can't even open it because there ain't nothing in there. Because they ain't getting nothing. They just walked. Why should that? And then now you have to go to night school, if you even care. Anyway, so that's all I had to say about that in this podcast. Thank you for watching. And thank you for listening. Because I don't know how this shows up in YouTube podcast area thing. But I'll see you in another podcast. Okay? Bye. See ya.
Victorian Heaven Party.